UFC Fight Night Ulberg versus Reyes goes down this weekend in my very own backyard. Yes, Perth, Western Australia. We are here. Obviously, I can't afford to go. I don't have a job. But I do keep you guys busy, don't I? So you're welcome for that always. But I'll be getting into it right now. 15 fights on the card. 14, sorry. What a retard. Should I restart? No. But I'll be going through it. I'm feeling kind of confident as well. And I reckon it will be a fun card with a lot of good scraps. And we start off with the women's fight. In the strawweight division, flyweight, what's the smallest? Oh, I'm ruining this, but I'm going Loma Lookboonmee here. I'm going Loma Lookboonmee. Holy shit, she looks like a guy, but yeah, I'm still going Loma Lookboonmee, because she's very good. Established UFC fighter. Look at that, Denise Gomes she beats. Elise Reed, who's not god awful. At least Bruna Brazil she beats. Like, these are UFC comp. We know what we're getting out of Loma. I'm not going to pick this girl who's beaten an undefeated person on the Contender Series and then submitted Molly McCann. Now she's a big favorite against someone who I know is very good and a little bit more older, in her prime, I would say. She trains over there in Thailand all the time. Her Muay Thai is sick. I've seen her get rounds in with Volk over there in Thailand. And until I know that this girl's a beast, I'm going to pick Loma Lookboonmee. Alexia could come out and dominate Loma on the mat, but I don't know she's going to do that. Why do I know she's going to do that? Because she beat Molly McCann. I know what I'm getting out of Loma. She's sick at fighting, good grappling herself, and wicked on the feet. I'm going to pick her by decision as a good dog, and I think it's a great opportunity. What do I know out of Thainara? That she looks like a guy and she can beat Molly McCann? Join the fucking club. Everyone can. Julia Stoliarenko also submitted Molly McCann in the first round, guys. Is she good? Is she good? But Thainara is sick and is going to beat Loma. I don't see that at all. So yeah, I'm going Loma Lookboonmee. She's going to win that one. Brando Pericic, I think I said his name right, versus Elisha. Elisha Ellison. Dude's name's Elisha. And he's black? That's fucking bizarre. But I'm going Brando Pericic here. The Balkan Bear, I think his name is. Fights out of CKB, 31 years of age. I've actually never seen either of these guys fight before. And I'm surprised to see that the common pick is actually the black guy. But, you know, don't take this one with too much, you know, I haven't seen these guys fight before, but I'm going to take the Aussie, who's usually very poised, Aussie guys. Americans with 5-1 records aren't always good. He trains at CKB, gets in rounds with like Ulberg and Navajo, you'd have to say. So I think he's going to win this one, and I'm going to take him by knockout at some point. We'll move on to the next one. Luana Carolina versus Michelle Montague, I think is her name, and I'll be going Luana Carolina here as another underdog, taking both the underdog girls, 17%. I just don't know why Michelle is such a common pick. 31 years of age, she's 6-0 undefeated. She's rear naked choked a lot of girls over there in the PFL. But look at this. I know it's not blatant, but Ivana Petrovic also debuted 6-0 against Luana Carolina. She did not win. So I'm not going to trust a 6-0 girl who I don't really know. Yeah, you can submit a lot of 3-1 girls, 4-2, 4-2, 0-0. But Luana is a UFC level girl who's 11-4, very established. She's on a 3-fight win streak right now. She's pretty big. I heard this girl fought at 155 and 145 pounds before. See their weight class featherweight. And as you can see, she is a BJJ girl. But that doesn't always work. Like a jiu-jitsu person comes in and just submits everyone. When does that really even happen? So I'm going Carolina by decision. Her nickname's Dread, which I suppose she has dreads. So good for her. But yeah, I think she's fairly decently sized as well. Good kicks and Muay Thai. It's not like her grappling's trash. She's beaten Stoliarenko. I know Stoliarenko's not good. Oh shit, hold on. But yeah, I'm going Luana Carolina by decision. I actually feel quite good about it too. I was surprised to see she was the dog. 6-0, PFL girl, a lot of subs on her record against a big UFC person. I was just thinking that they would not believe in her, but no, they're giving credit to the prospect. I think Luana wins this one for sure. I actually thought she was going to be the favourite, so the fact that she's the dog, cheers, I'll take that. And we'll move on to the next one. Colby Thicknesse versus Josias Musasa. Josias Musasa, I will be going you, brother. I'll be going Josias Musasa, the KO wizard. Just because I think he's pretty good, and although he got fluked on, like before that, I thought he was a good fighter. And I know Colby didn't get finished in his debut, but did Toporia's brother look sick in his debut, like some beast you think is going to get the belt? Did Colby impress you in his debut? Like, man, this guy's super good. No, he didn't. He was like a pitter-patter, technical bantamweight, Newsflash, they're all technical at bantamweight. He's got no pop in his shots. This guy looked sick before, heaps of KOs, then got a good decision against a 9-0 guy in the Contender Series, then got fluked in his debut, lost his O, and now he bounces back against Colby Thicknesse, who's just, I didn't see anything out of to make me think he's good. I really didn't. I could see Josias dropping Thicknesse with big shots. I will go him by decision, because Aussies are usually pretty tough, but I reckon he'll drop him at least in a round. And yeah, I just didn't see anything out of Colby. And I think this is a good spot for Musasa to get back on track type of thing. Like, we know it all the time. Undefeated fighters lose their O, they come back, they're better. I suppose Thicknesse just lost his O too, but it was like a short notice. Usually people do good on short notice. And then they're full camp, you see the real them. Let's see what he's got, but he's going to have to like pick apart Musasa. I've got Musasa here, dropping Thicknesse, winning a decision, maybe KOing him at some point. I reckon Musasa wins. We move on to the next one. Now, this one's probably the most annoying. As you can see, near evens. Jamie Mullarkey versus Bedoya. And I'm just not going to pick Mullarkey to win fights anymore. You look at his last 5. Prado, I think it might have been Prado's debut, but honestly, that looks fairly good. But Prado hasn't won anything. Naimov slumped him. Slumped here. Just too many slumpings. And look, he fights Chaos Williams, goes to a split in his debut, doesn't get slumped. Song Kenan and Jai Herbert, I think we'd pick all 3 of these guys to dispatch off Mullarkey. I know Bedoya's not that good, but he's 28, he's got a good chin, he's tough, he's from Peru. He was 14-1 before he came into the promotion. Now he's 14-4. I don't think he's going to be 14-5 and just lose all 4 of his fights. But Mullarkey, who is weirdly 31 and not that old, I do think is done and has no chin, and I'll be taking Bedoya, maybe by KO at some point, but definitely wins at the very least. We move on to the next one, Jonathan Micallef versus Oban Elliott. Now, this one is difficult, but I am going to take Oban Elliott in this one, and if Jonathan Micallef is that good, that he can come in to the UFC as an underdog and spam kicks on Kevin Josias when no one really picked him to win, and then beat an Oban Elliott, then what a fucking beast this guy is. Because I don't know what in his career, like he lost to Alden Bates a year ago, he's 26, he's a young guy. He surprised us with the Kevin Josias one. If he goes on and beats Oban Elliott, who's had good performance against Parsons, Val Woodburn, he's an established fighter, knocked out Basil, and then lost to a guy who looked like a beast and is a Sambo world champion who's now fighting Phil Rowe. We'll see how that one goes. But yeah, if the captain's that good that he's going to spam kicks, legit, in his debut, all he did was spam body kicks, and then sometimes they went up high. It happens all the time in UFC 5 when someone will spam leg kicks. You go to block the leg kick, bam, it goes up high. That's what Micallef's game is. He also has grappling in his back pocket. I think Oban Elliott's going to be able to outbox him. I don't think Oban's going to shoot here. If Micallef shoots, I reckon he gets stuff, and I reckon Micallef has bad boxing and not very slick on the feet, just has a good body kick / head kick that he spams. I think Oban Elliott gets back into the win column here by decision. Picking apart Micallef with better boxing, solid takedown defense. I don't think this one hits the mat, and I'm going to take Oban by decision. But if Micallef comes in as an 8-1 guy, beats Josias by clear-ass decision, and then beats Oban, then we have a beast on our hands, because that's very impressive. 2 fights in your career, but I'm not going to trust him against this one. I'd rather be surprised by how good he is than hope that he has the level to beat Oban. I think Oban's a very good fighter, just lost, and now he's going to rebuild type shit, yeah. And we'll go on to the next one, Andrei Petroski versus Cam Rowston. I will be taking Cam Rowston. I think this is a very good matchup for him. They call him the most well-rounded fighter. Since he's lost to Torres Finney, he won 4. Calf slicer, another submission. So I don't think he's going to get dominated on the ground. We've seen Torres does just dominate people anyway. And Rowston did pretty good, landed a lot of good shots. I think he might have won round 3. The reason Torres didn't get signed is because of how boring it was. Like, Torres couldn't do shit to Rowston. He just knocked out another guy. Petroski's bad, has 0 stand-up. His takedowns are decent, but I don't think Rowston is Budka level where he's going to get dominated. And I don't know if Petroski's Finney level. He could be. But look at that. KO'd by Malkoon. Michel Pereira wiped him out in 40 seconds. And how bad does that look now? Because Michel Pereira can't beat anyone else. So I'm going to go Cam Rowston, maybe by KO at some point, but at least a decision where he outstrikes Petroski, stuffs the takedowns, and wins this one. I think he's a good dog, and I'm going to pick him to come through on his debut, the most well-rounded fighter in CKB, they say. So I'm going to believe in that. And Petroski's bad. I don't like Petroski. All right, moving on to the headliner of the prelims. Navajo Stirling fights Rodolfo Bellato. And I actually do think this one's a bit of a lock. I will say that, put it on the line. Navajo Stirling will beat Rodolfo Bellato. I actually think it's about time he gets a KO. Bellato's very open, very chinny. Jimmy was landing good shots on him. Ehor dropped him and stuff. Like, dude gets dropped a lot. This guy, Murtaza Tala, just got absolutely destroyed by Susakayev on the Contender Series, so he's not good. Look at that Paul Craig performance. And I know Navajo's been having a couple sus ones where he's a bit boring, but I think this is a very good matchup for him. I don't know what Bellato does to win at all. I don't think his striking's as good as Ivan Erslan's is, and I just think he's shit. And I think this is a very good canvas for Navajo to get a sick KO in the second round. Maybe the first, but he's pretty patient. But I do trust him to get the KO this week, land on Bellato, and kind of relieve everyone who doesn't like Bellato after the acting that he did in his last one. Navajo wins by KO. One of my most confident picks so far is Navajo Stirling. Just heads up. Did you hear that? The fucking vacuum's going to start cleaning again, so don't mind him. Little Robbie, we call him. All right, main card time, though. Can you fuck off, please? Definitely fuck off, man. Tom Nolan versus Charlie Campbell. This is probably the... Dude, it's about to get so loud. Can I pause this? Oh, I think I can. Okay, guys, I'm back. I just paused it so I could shut the robot up because that was going to be annoying. But yes, Tom Nolan versus Charlie Campbell. Now, this might be one of the scariest ones so far that I don't have a lot of confidence coming in. Charlie's a good pick, but I'm going to take full camp Tom Nolan, who is training for Evan Elder and has been looking good and a lot better every single fight we've seen him. Like, looked bad against Motta and then looked bad against Martinez, a bit better against Reyes, and really good against Borshev. Didn't get cracked or anything. Charlie Campbell's got decent boxing, but he also, like, I suppose he KO'd Alex Reyes and Charlie didn't. I mean, Tom Nolan didn't. But I didn't like the Trevor Peake performance that much. I don't think he's that good. Chris Duncan laid him out badly, so he's not impenetrable when it comes to the chin. Tom is a bit chinny and he's long and he's rangy. He's like a real lanky guy that you expect to get KO. But I'm going to go Tom by decision. Just full camp. He's dynamic. He's got like a lot of tools, flying knees, spinning kicks, a good body kick. Can get caught in the pocket sometimes. If you're going to pick Campbell, pick him by knockout. Otherwise, I do think Tom is the right pick to make and the safer pick. And we'll move on to the next one. Louie Sutherland versus Justin Tuffer. And I'm going to take Justin Tuffer here by KO. Not going to pick a random guy that I don't know in their debut who's got... Are those called traps? What's he hiding in there, do you guys think? Because those shoulders are fucking unbelievable. They're going to be the talk of the town this week. I watched my boy Artem's video, who hates me weirdly. I watched him and he was talking about the shoulders. I bet Guru's going to be talking about the shoulders. Guru's going to be talking about the shoulders. We know that. And the delts and the traps. He'll probably obsess over it more than anyone else. But yeah, what's he done? 4-1 guy. I know tough as shit. 3-2. 5-7. Jeez, I didn't realize that was that bad. And then the only decent person he fought, he lost to. Slim. Let me see what Slim's up to these days. Actually, no. Don't worry. But yeah, I know he's having a couple toughies lately. Tougher. But I am going to pick him to knock out Sutherland here. I just think this is one he wins. He actually does have decent timing. It's not like he's just a fucking blob who stands there and swings. He can like weave back and plant a right hand on you if you're not seasoned and ready to go. I think Sutherland has to have a sick grappling game if he wants to win this one. If he's going to go out there and strike with Tuffer, I've got Tuffer by a knockout. I reckon he gets back into the win column. We go up to the biggest favourite on the card, which is a bit puzzling, but I don't think anyone's going to be picking Neil Magny this week. I've got Jake Matthews here by decision. I think he could definitely get a submission, because, never mind. Magny fights so much that I couldn't show you when he got subbed, but Burns have subbed him, Shavkat. He just subbed Chitty, which was very impressive, but he's more of a decision guy. I think Neil's going to be able to stay safe here and just get outboxed by Jake, get out-grappled. Jake can take him down with trips. But I'm very confident Jake wins this one by either decision or submission. Not knockout, though. He's not going to knock out Neil. I'd be very surprised if he does. But yeah, Jake by decision, common pick. Everyone's making it. And the right pick as well. But the Magny odds are weird. But they just like to bait people, I think. And everyone's so confident that Jake wins. So why give you a decent price? He is going to win. All right, we move on to Jack Jenkins. 3 left. Jack Jenkins versus Raymond Tavares. I will go Jack. I do think this one isn't as clear cut as everyone assumes, 90 to 10%, because Raymond does have decent pop in his shots. He did drop Davy Grant on his ass. He dropped Sirhi City in moments. He laid out Cortavius Romeus in the first round. He does have decent boxing. He goes to the body well. And I do like his combos. He's not just some fucking schmuck. I reckon Jack wins a decision because he mixes it up well with leg kicks, obviously. You got to mention his leg kicks. He's good. Just lost to Santos. There's a big bridge here between losing to Davy at Bantam and losing to Gabriel Santos, who's a huge monster. And Gabriel Santos, who we now know has beaten guys like Jose Delano and maybe Lorian Douglas he beat. Like, Gabriel Santos has beat a lot of these sick Brazilians that we've gone and watched perform really well on the Contender Series, so I don't blame Jack. Also, the Shepe one was bullshit. And he's a good fighter, Jack is. So, yeah. I've got him by decision because he doesn't finish everyone all the time. And I think Ramon's tough and it isn't going to get leg kick TKO'd. But third round TKO, maybe leg kicks. That's obviously always an option for little Jack. But no, I've got Jack by decision. Clear-cut decision. 29-28. Maybe Ramon drops him in a round, though. I do respect Ramon. I think he is decent. I wouldn't be surprised if 145 he's better there. We'll see how he goes. All right, and co-main event. Weirdest co-main event, but honestly, I don't know what they would put. But I feel like give Navajo an opportunity to lay out Bellato in the co-main. This isn't going to be fun, and I do think it might be a draw. I'll tell you about the dream I had on stream. But Jimmy Crute versus Ivan Erslan, and I am going to take Ivan Erslan here. I don't care. I don't want to pick Jimmy. I think whoever was the dog would be a good dog to take. I think Jimmy is just badass. And he got caught into some weird spots on the ground with Kutelaba, who has better pop on their shots and better stand-up than Jimmy. So I do think that's a bit of an equalizer. Ivan knows Jimmy's going to take him down, whereas Kutelaba was striking and mixing it up a bit. And also, Kutelaba got Ivan in bad spots that he did get out of. Jimmy went all or nothing for the sub against Prachnio. Prachnio has a big, long history of being subbed all the time. And I don't think Ivan Erslan does. Oh, he got rear naked there by a 17-3 guy, which is impressive. But yeah, I don't think this is some guy who gets submitted easily. I think he could knock out Jimmy. I think it could be a draw or he wins a decision in that second and third. But yeah, even Prachnio was actually landing a lot of good knees and getting the better of the exchanges. But Prachnio has been subbed many times by Bikauskas. Modestas Bikauskas subbed him. Who does Modestas sub? Vitor Petrino subbed him too. Like, Prachnio has a history of just getting subbed all the time. So that was a dumb pick. But Ivan Erslan I am going to pick because I think it's time he gets back in the win column. And also, he won Kutelaba in his debut, lost a split, then fought Navajo. Get me wrong, would you not pick Navajo and Kutelaba to dispatch of Jimmy Crute? So I think Ivan is a good dog here, and I'm going to take him. I just hate picking Jimmy anyway, so I reckon it's time Ivan gets a win in the UFC. I don't think he's going to go 0-3. And lost to Navajo decision, lost to Kutelaba, beat to Jimmy Crute, who's trash. All right, but main event time. Carlos Ulberg versus Dom Reyes. And I will be taking the Black Jag here. And wow, 50-50 is pretty bizarre. But yeah, I'll be taking the Black Jag Carlos Ulberg here by knockout at some point. I do think he lands on Reyes' chin, who I'm not sure if it's fully back and he's got a granite chin again. No one's landed on it. No one's landed on it in this 3-fight win streak. Krylov didn't punch him. Smith didn't punch him. No one's fucking punched him since this run. So Span laid him out instantly. He's been laid out a lot of times. I do think his stance could give Ulberg problems, but Ulberg's a safe guy. He's wickedly fast. He's got decent popping his shots. This could be a bit boring, but if Reyes wants to come in, I think he's going to get laid out at some point in the second round. I do think Ulberg lands on the chin and dispatches of him. I just think Ulberg's safe. He's way fast. And I do think if you force the occasion onto Ulberg, he will open up and lay you out with wicked pop in his shots and stuff. My laptop's about to... But don't forget, Carlos was a ridiculous finisher. So what? He didn't knock out Volkan and Blachowicz. Guess what? Reyes didn't knock those guys out either. He barely even fucking beat them. Blachowicz ran through him. And a lot of people think Volkan beat him. Manifield and stuff. I like Ulberg. I think he's next for the belt. I wouldn't be surprised if Reyes won, but I do think Ulberg is the right pick. And I do think Ulberg wins. And that's it. I've accidentally clicked off. But you guys enjoy that card. I'm feeling good about it. There's all my 14 picks. And I feel good. A couple good underdogs, taking both the girls. There's a lot of 50-50 fights where if you get it right, you basically pick the dog. Like if Tougher wins, if Oban wins, evens fight, Bedoya. So there's a lot of evens fight where it's impressive if you get it. And Ivan's my dog as well on the main card. I think Ivan beats Jimmy Crute, who I hate. But I also did have a dream about a draw, which I'll tell you about. It was pretty nuts. But how long did I go for? 20 minutes? That seems about right. And I'll be seeing you guys later. And hello, Mum. I forgot I stopped doing that. And yeah. Pew!